and welcome to another public speaking expert podcast, recording. Welcome to another public speaking expert podcast. My name is Elliot and I am your host with the very most. And today we're talking about how to have unshakable belief as an influencer, but also just how to have unshakable belief. And I think it's important we do this today. And I think it's important that we record this today. And anybody watching on LinkedIn and everybody watching on YouTube, hello, lovely to see you. I think what's very important, the reason I really wanted to do this is because we're going through a bit of a turbulent time right now. And this is the time where our beliefs are absolutely magnified. And of course, this isn't in any way a reflection of you being weak or you having issues or challenges. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I just want to offer some steps in this recording to show you how you can have absolutely unshakable beliefs, but also to understand where beliefs come from and how we can use our beliefs as stepping stones, our beliefs to grow. And of course, if we've had a good or a bad experience, how we can utilize that to move forwards. That's what's really key here when it comes down to this particular episode. Now, remember, we release a episode every Saturday on all major platforms, and I record this live every Monday, and they are streamed onto LinkedIn and YouTube. So depending on when you're watching this and when you're hearing this, you might be seeing me live, you might be hearing a recording. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the love of this podcast with your friends, your family, your groups, your Facebook group, your LinkedIn groups, your TikTok groups. Are there TikTok groups? I don't think there's TikTok groups. Anyway, share it, share the love, right? And of course, if you like, subscribe and give us a rating, which is 5 stars and above, and send us a lovely comment, I will send you a copy of my book wherever you are in the world, because that is how I roll. Woohoo! So who am I? I'm Elliot K. I've got over a decade experience of training entrepreneurs and experts in their field, to you speaking for influence, to you speaking to get paid, to you speaking to empower, educate, and elevate audiences globally. I myself am a professional speaker. I speak globally. Last week I jetted away all the way across the ocean, far away to Belfast, and I did a talk there at the university, and I talk in front of various crowds, especially about speaking with authority, and that is my groove, y'all. But this is season 2 of the Public Speaking Expert podcast, and we are focusing on influence this season. And today I want to talk about how beliefs shape our influence, and this is really important. And I said why, and if you didn't hear why, now you'll hear why, because I said it why. And why? Well, it's because we're going through challenging times, and we're going to be tempted to put our head in the sand. We're going to be tempted to withdraw, to pull back, to be careful, to be cautious, not to take a risk, which is okay, as long as it's done in a calculated, non-fear driven decision. So let's talk about this a bit. Yeah. Now I've got a little bit of notes here. So for those of you watching live, you probably might see my eyes go to the side. But for those of you who aren't watching, for those of you listening, then it doesn't matter because you can just hear me. But just so you know, my eyes are going to go to the side like this. And that is why. So I made some notes because I want to stay on topic. I want to stay on target when we're talking about how to have unshakable beliefs as an influencer, as someone who's out there creating influence, someone out there who's speaking to influence, as someone out there who wants to impact industry globally or locally, who's someone out there who wants to get their story out there to impact people so they have better lives. Whatever that is for you, here it goes. The first thing I want you to understand is this when it comes down to beliefs, and this is a biggie. Are you ready? Failure does not have to form part of your identity, right? Now, if we look at where identity is formulated, right, there's so many factors that form our identity: family, education, peers, religion, politics, culture, work, media, the role we've played when we grew up. Were we the caring brother or sister or uncle? Did we have to care for our family? Were we the forgotten child? Were we the really clever child or the mediocre child, right? So the role we've played throughout our journey will shape our beliefs, right? How we digest media is going to shape our beliefs, has shaped our beliefs. The kind of work we've done or the work we want to do shapes our beliefs. Our culture has a massive impact on our beliefs, right? Period. Politics depends on the politics we grew up with, surrounded by. That's going to shape our beliefs. Religion, huge impact, whether we like it or not, whether we agree with it or not, whether it was a completely atheist, or which is non-religion, of course, is a completely like non-believer but still kind of had some religion in our background, or very extreme. Of course, that's going to shape our beliefs, right? The peers, the people around us, of course, family fall into peers in one way, but the others outside of that, peers, right? So our teachers, our friend groups, all of that stuff is a big part of our education will help form our beliefs, and of course our family help form our beliefs. So if you take all of those components and you put them together, right, that structured our whole belief system, failure doesn't have to form a part of it. What do I mean with that? A lot of us who are putting ourselves out there to be influential, whether it be through speaking or other channels, of course we have blowback, we have people come at us, all kinds of things happen when you're putting yourselves out there. So if I take speaking, for example, well, you're going to pitch yourself for speaking opportunities, you're going to get a no. You might go on stage and it might not land very well. And what happens is a lot of people take that tiny experience and then collapse their whole identity around failure. Now, maybe you've done it 3, 4, 5, 10 times. Excuse me. 3, 4, 5, 10 times, right? Suddenly, within your whole identity, it's almost like air going into a tire. The whole thing becomes a failure. Oh, I failed because of my family. I failed because I didn't have the education. I failed because I didn't have the right peer group, right? I failed because, I was part of the wrong religion. I failed because of my political stance, or because I didn't have the right political stance. So what we start to do is we start to pump our whole identity with this culture air, like right? And it collapses our whole identity. Because also when we're going for things like we're getting on stage, or we're putting ourselves out there, there's an excitement around it. Like a bit like when you're about to ask someone out and you get all excited and all brave, like, hey, would you go out with me? And they're like, no. Like, our whole identity collapses, right? Of course, there's the social pressure that goes with being rejected. So we collapse our identity versus using that, okay, there's feedback there. Why didn't it work? Why did she say no? Why did he say no? Why did they say no? Right? Why did they not want me to speak? What can I learn from this? And if you understand that failure does not define your identity, then you have a much stronger base to build from. Obviously, I don't get all the speaking gigs I go for. Obviously, I don't always do like amazing talks. Well, most of the time I do amazing talks. I don't always do amazing talks, right? So what's important here is to understand that failure is a part of the journey, not a part of our process. Hi, Tracy May. Lovely to see you. Hello, hello. How are you? Hey, Ryan. Lovely to see you as well, who's watching us live. It's lovely to see you. I hope this is all making sense to you. So I just want you to understand that while failure is part of this journey, it doesn't have to be part of your identity. And if it isn't part of your identity and you're able to accept it as a stepping stone, as something to learn from, yes, it sucks. Let's not pretend. It sucks. But we're able to take it to shape us. Then that's one way to have unshakable beliefs, right? The other way to have it is mistakes do not define us. There's a kind of whole thing about definition going on here today. We all get it wrong. Right? We all get it wrong. Can we just agree on that? That we all get it wrong. If you're watching it live, just say, hell yeah, we all get it wrong. And even just put a comment when you're listening to this on the replay and say, yes, I get it wrong. But again, there's so much that's attached to being right and being wrong that when we're wrong, it massively dents our confidence, our ability to go out there. So therefore, the next time we want to go out, the next time we want to put it out there, we are remembered of that time that we made a mistake. And then we could catastrophize, or we do so much around it. Like we give this life, this mistake, we give it a life. We're like, you're the mistake. And I've given you all this life and you are now my nemesis. Versus going, you know what? Made a mistake. How can I fix this? What can I do to make sure next time it doesn't happen? Is it that the slides went down and you can remember your talk? Well, simple solution. Slides aid your talk. They don't dominate your talk. Is it that you told a story and it bombed? Well, change the story. Is it that the content just didn't land? Learn to change the content. Is it that you just spoke in front of the wrong audience? Well, no, to ask better questions when you get booked. We all make mistakes. There is no one that doesn't make mistakes. It's how we rise up and how we build from them. It's accepting, a bit like failure. The mistakes are part of the journey, and mistakes are nice little arrows that point us in the right directions to make sure we don't make that mistake again, right? You're never going to get it right. Let go of perfectionism. If you want unshakable belief as an influencer, let go of perfectionism. I'm telling you now, if you are a perfectionist in a way that it hinders your growth, in a way that it stops you from taking action, or it makes you feel crap because nothing's perfect, let go of that. Now, I'm not saying don't have high standards. I'm not saying don't aim for something that's incredibly near enough perfection. Now, you can aim for perfection in a way if it motivates you, if it helps you grow, if it moves you forwards, then fine, go for perfection. But if it makes you feel crap and nothing's good enough and you're not able to take a compliment and you'll never achieve because you're striving for this esoteric illusion, then let go of it. Let go of perfection. You want unshakable beliefs in this journey? Let go of perfection. Have I said that enough times? I will take progress over perfection. Any single day, I would say that progress trumps perfection every single day, because if you wait for it to be perfect, it will never be perfect, right? So I just want to say that. So mistake, they do not define us. Failure doesn't define our identity. The other thing I want to talk about, if you want to have unshakable beliefs, right, is learn to love the no. Dun, dun, dun. Again, there's a theme here. Learn to love the no. What am I talking about? No is a bad word. No isn't a good word. No is a negative word. Well, yes, maybe in many situations it is. But when we're talking about influential people, when we're talking about speaking, when we're talking about putting yourself out there to influence, to have unshakable beliefs, one of the greatest ways that you can truly have an unshakable belief is learn to love the no. And what do I mean? When you next get a no, listen to what comes next. Most people hear the no and shut down. Can I be one of your speakers? No. Can I do this? No. Right? Now, of course, no has a relevancy. I'm not saying that every time it's a no, it's a yes. That's just really dangerous ground. But when I'm talking about the space we're in and you get the no, what I would do is listen to what's next, because what's next is feedback. No, because of. No, because of this. No, the reason is. And if you're able to hear no beyond, what's beyond the no, then actually what you will learn is far greater than getting shut down by the no. Can you see that? Can you hear that? Right? Because most people, no, we can't book you because budget. No, we won't book you because you're not big enough. No, we won't book you, not big enough following. No, right? There's something after the no that's going to give you the stepping stone to be able to get to a yes. Now, it might take years. It might take days. I don't know. Haha. Right? But it's a different no than a no. Haha. See how I did that, play words. Or maybe I do know. K-N-O-W or N-O? Oh, very confusing. Right? The point I'm making is if you learn to love the no, you don't fear the no. If you don't fear the no, then you've got unshakable belief. Why? Because you know after the no comes something. Or if it's not right, can we book you? No. Cool. Move on. It doesn't define you. It's not part of your identity. It's just not a match. It's that simple. And building on that is rejection is never personal. Okay, rejection is never personal in this space. Sure, they might be rejecting your persona or your whole status, but it's not personal. You just didn't fit into a box that they wanted to fill, and they had a picture of who wanted to fill that, and you didn't fit in that. And there's so many factors that could have been, but it's not personal. Unless they go, you, Elliot K, are such a terrible ... and Elliot K is, maybe that's personal, right? And I can say 99.9999% of the time it's not personal, right? And even if they don't like you, what they don't like is a version of you that they see that they don't like, and they don't want to book, and they don't want you to come on their stage and influence in the way you could. So that is what it is. It is not personal, and I want you to remember that. So those are some of the ways you can have unshakable belief, right? Rejection isn't personal. Learn to love the no, right? Mistakes don't define us. Failure doesn't become part of our identity. But also what you need to think about if we do want to have unshakable beliefs is a bit like a shower, that we need to evaluate what is going on with our belief system, what needs addressing, you know, what could be stopping me from going to some of the bigger or some of the bigger names, like what's in the way? Look at the beliefs there. I always ask this question: if you knew you couldn't fail, what actions would you take? Right? If you knew you couldn't fail, what actions would you take? And I get such a range of answers. I'm like, well, aren't you taking them? And the answer between why aren't you taking them and if you knew you couldn't fail is your beliefs, right? So address those. There's plenty of coaches and trainers and consultants and mentors that can help you work on the beliefs. I do a little bit of belief work, but not a great deal, right? Because, if your beliefs aren't in check, then there's an opposing force to where you want to go, right? So if you think about that, if I want to get on stage in front of 10,000 people, for example, and I'm going, yeah, I'm going to do it, but inside of me is a little belief going, no, you won't, no. That small pullback is creating a massive effect on your ability to move forward. It might be a very small voice, might be a very small beliefs, but what if I fail? What if I make a fool of myself? What if? All those little bits are pulling you back. They're stopping you from moving forwards. So just like a shower, I hope most of you shower every single day, if not every other day, or whatever, right? Is we need to do a bit of a belief audit. I need to look at that and go, okay, what beliefs are at play right now that are stopping me from moving forwards? And the more you do that, actually, the more clarity you'll get and the more you're able to move forwards. That is key, right? And there's so many different ways you can work on your beliefs. There's neurolinguistic programming, there's emotional freedom technique, there's visualization, there's hypnotherapy, there's counseling, there's psychology. There's so many, find what works for you, but really work on them because the rewards at the end of it far outweigh anything that could be getting in the way of you getting those rewards. All right. So I hope you found that handy. This has been another recording of the Public Speaking Expert podcast. And of course, season 2 is about influence. So we're available on all major platforms. If you want to follow and listen to any of the other episodes, we're still releasing season 1 on some platforms, so make sure that you like, subscribe, and of course leave us a comment, and I'll send you a copy of my book, absolutely complimentary. And we release an episode every single Saturday on all major platforms, and we record this live every single Monday on LinkedIn and YouTube. So till the next time, be seen, be heard, and if there's any way we can help with that, reach out, send me a message, DM me through any of the channels, and we will go from there. So be seen, be heard, and always be more giraffe. Till the next time, people, have an amazing rest of the day, evening, afternoon, or night, depending when you're listening to this. Bye-bye now.